Hey guys, it's BBB Vets, and we have here the oil fittings. The reason why these are so important, these tie into the dry sump system of the LS and LT engines. So whether you have a C6 or a C7 Corvette, and potentially even a C5 if you have a dry sump system on it and you use a GM factory setting, then basically this is the stock hose, and this hose has Teflon inside, so we've unraveled it so you can get a good look at it here. This Teflon is -16 in size, and it's actually larger than -16 because when rubber is -16, it's actually a smaller inner diameter. So this is what your car is to and from the oil, is coming to and from the dry sump pan underneath the engine to the dry sump tank. Okay, so the reason why this fitting is so important is on the internet you're going to find that they have these side by side. It'll be this mirrored with another one that's this way, and it's all one piece. The reason why you don't want to buy those is because they now interfere with this line, which is a line that you want to leave alone. We leave this line alone. It's the feed line. So you need a -16 line feeding your engine. You don't want to mess with that, okay? Because it's just gravity fed, and you don't want to... I'll give you a for instance. Several people, including K-Tech, I believe, has noticed that you can starve the factory main oil pump if you pull enough lateral G's. So just understand something. That's with this hose. They're able to starve the factory oil pump. Now, if you were to go down to a -12 hose or smaller, it's going to take even longer for the oil to recoup and get back to that pump to unstarve the motor, if you will. So by using these, you're optimizing this. The other thing you're doing is you're saving yourself a lot of money. If you were to use the double fittings, now you have to purchase double AN fittings on both sides, okay, both the feed and the return. And then also back at the tank, you have to purchase both sides, feed and the return. Plus then you have to use an AN hose, which is going to be a -12 hose. And that -12 hose that you end up using, you have to cut it the exact perfect length. And if you say, oh, I'm going to use Teflon, here's the problem with Teflon. If you bend this hose, and since we're not going to use this hose anymore, I'm going to go ahead and show you. That bend right there that I just did, this hose is now ruined. Because what it does is it kinks the hose. And so at the top of the kink and the bottom of the kink, that hose, that Teflon internally will now give away down the road. So if you're in there trying to figure out how to put together the perfect length and you end up kinking this hose, that hose will then fail later. So that's why we only mess with the one side. We have this on the pan and we have this on the dry sump tank, and then we leave the other side alone. So this will be in parallel to it on the other side, the stock hose, obviously one that's not cut open. And so this is how these ship out. We put them in a package and they're the exact same size. The other thing you're going to notice about the double fittings that you'll find on the internet is they don't go into the orifice as far as these do. It's a lot more expensive to create this long male fitting here than it is to do the short one. So when you're shopping for these, that's the problem, is this is factory quality. The other ones that you're going to find are not. And so you say, okay, well, what do I need these for? This is how you can do an oil cooler. You do the oil cooler on the sump line back to the dry sump tank. So from the engine back to the dry sump tank, and that does not affect engine oil pressure. If you are going to tie in to the factory brick oil location, the factory brick oil cooler location, then I highly advise that you upgrade your oil pump to the K-Tech oil pump that they came out with, which raises the oil pressure about 20 psi across the board, because that's an extra restriction. So anyhow, if you need these, contact us at sales@bbbvets.com. You can also contact us at bbbvets@gmail.com. So again, sales@bbbvets.com. and hopefully you guys can put these to use. We have our own oil cooler kits, but we are selling these separately. This is the GM factory gasket that goes on here, and then the GM factory bolt goes in and holds this in place just as it does the stock. They're identical. Thanks for watching.